Hi Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today to share with you a process video using some watercolor on a black and white background paper. Christine invited me to join some of her friends and share videos on ways to do this for a crafting with black and white series. This is the pattern paper I'm using from American Crafts, and I decided to use some of my Koi and Peerless watercolors to add some color to the hexagons in the background. I've speeded this up pretty fast, as you don't really need to see how to do that. I've basically mixed various of the blues and greens in the Koi watercolor, and you can see the palette beside me, and just added in different hues and shades in various sizes of the hexagons. I wanted to use this to add color to the black and white and complement the colors in the pattern papers that I chose to use. I created my own kit per se and pulled out bits and pieces of this aqua or teal colored paper. Well, it's watercolor, and I pulled out some complementary colors. I could have left the background black and white, but decided that I wanted some color to complement with that and add some fun contrast to the black and white. I also chose to use a black and white picture, which really made the picture stand out by using these contrast colors in the background. I also have a very small black and white picture, and by having the smaller size picture, it really allowed the background to stand out, and it needed that contrast of color in the black and white. In many ways, I ought to say white and black for this particular piece of pattern paper. So I used a little bit of the water from my watercolor and splatted that around as well. That's me shaking the brush around there. And after I color in some of these hexagons, I also then take my mist and splatter that again in a complementary color to just add a little bit more visual interest to the background. I don't want it to be too distracting because those geometrics are a little bright, or busy I should say, but I wanted you to have some color to look at to make the layout more interesting. So I blotted up some of that mist, and I pulled out the bits and pieces that I gathered ahead of time. This picture is of my daughter reading in our nook, and she chose to do that instead of go outside and play in the snow. So I had a couple of extra snowflakes from a layout that I did recently of my son playing in the snow that I wanted to use to just reflect the time of year. I also thought that those hexagons were of the same general shape as a snowflake, and they mimicked that falling snow as she was sitting in the nook reading her book really well. I tend to do things very linearly, so to have the watercolor and the mixed media in the background sort of changed that, and rather than actually cutting a lot of my papers with my trimmer and having my right angles, I use a fair amount of my scissors, and I've actually even torn paper for this layout. This is a tag that I had from a Cocoa Daisy kit that I wanted to use because it was of the same color. I literally chose everything to be either black and white or of that aqua teal color. Because I have a footer for the page where the bottom of the page where the picture is going to sit, I wanted something nestled up top. I also really liked this really bold black and white because it added a draw from the boldness of the black and white picture. So I have that little piece of the big bold black and white that I wanted to put somewhere to sort of soften the look of the hard black and white picture on the background. So I'm going to shuffle this around a little bit. I do a lot of shuffling when I scrap because I don't really know where I want things to go. I have not pre-made these layouts and then put them together on video. I often am actually in my creative process, which is why a lot of it is sped up, because I know I have limited patience and don't want to listen to a video for more than about 10 minutes, and so I do try and keep my videos also under 10 minutes. This is a journal card from my Cocoa Daisy February kit. I really loved the banner on this and decided to fussy cut that out and use that as the title for my layout. And it says, "It's the little moments like these." And I decide where I want to put this. I liked it up at the top of the picture, but it was too heavy and it needed something to sit on, so I eventually end up moving it from where it is at the top, and here I am. I've decided once I've got this, I don't like the triangle, and try it somewhere else, and then that sits back up the top. Lots of layers, different pieces of pattern paper. When I pull stuff out, I want to use it, and I can't always have everything. I like that bottom teal, but feel it needs a little bit of balance. It's sort of heavy. So I pulled out just different little strips of paper that I had and put lots of little strips along the bottom, as well as a sticker that I found from Bella Boulevard that says "moments" to go with the moments in the banner. Those of you who follow my videos, you'll see that I don't stick things down pretty much until I know absolutely where I want it to go. So if you see me sticking it, then I've committed. I also tend to move things around a lot until I've actually pretty much got the whole layout done. So I have a good idea that this is going to be the base of what I'm doing, and keep moving. That's some silver thread that I just want to use. I know I want to use a cloud thicker sticker, and so I just thought that the silver complemented the silver in the snowflake that you can't see. It's just off to the left there that'll go by the picture, and I like how the silver complemented each other. The silver thread is harder to work with than the cotton thread, because the silver and the gold, if you ever use them, they're a little more slicker, and so you really have to get them in a shape that you want before you anchor them down. Little bits of washi. Some of it's fine washi and some of it is thicker washi that I just end up trimming. I also didn't want the linear straight angles, so I cut them in a asymmetrical line, I guess. Playing with the tag, right, left, who knows. I end up settling on the left, and I love this snowflake. I actually do have a trio of snowflakes on the layout. It's really hard for you to see, but I've got that snowflake on the top left of the picture, and then there's a vellum snowflake that ends up going on the bottom right, and then a white snowflake up by that cloud and the thread that's up there. So I finally committed to putting this triangle here with the cloud overlapping it to just pop that black and white and give me a trio of clusters, really. I have the photo cluster, that triangle cluster, and then I end up making a cluster up at the top left so that you've got that visual triangle to draw your eye around the page, which works well with the hexagon shape in the watercolors. There's that vellum snowflake. You can see it better that I mentioned earlier. It's really not hard to create with black and white. In fact, I really enjoy it. You can add the color wherever you want and however you want. Christine's got some really neat techniques that she's done over the week, and be sure to check back into her blog. I will post her YouTube channel in my comments, as well as link you up to her blog. She's also had a week full of designers. I'm falling towards the end of the week, so be sure to go and check out. I'm sure she's linked up somewhere on her YouTube channel, the other gals that have joined her for this. I want a few more embellishments. I like to use what I can. I have a fairly sizable stash, and while I don't want my pages to be too busy, I do like the support to be there and try and give things a purpose. I found this rub-on, I believe it's from We Are Memory Keepers, from a Cocoa Daisy kit about a year ago, that worked really well and gave a contrast to that big triangle up the top right. These are some more of the thickers, the glitter thickers that complement that cloud, and I felt that a few more scattered about would draw the whole layout and tie it together nicely. Not sure what I'm digging for at this point. Oh, I'm just kind of cleaning up my workspace. I really liked these arrows from Bella Boulevard and wanted to use them somewhere. I had originally thought that they would be down the bottom of the page, but again, it was too busy with the geometric patterns that I already had, so I just cut out memories and ended up tucking that in up underneath the cloud up the top there. A few more stickers. Sure what I'm doing. Oh, that's the memories tag from Bella Boulevard that I just cut off just now, and I had to glue it because it wasn't a sticker. It was a piece of patterned paper. It's easy to use patterned papers as stickers. I really liked the hexagons and the way that they turned it out, but for some reason I decided I wanted to use my pens and put polka dots around the edges of some of them, and then I offset a few polka dots to just, I wanted more of a snow effect, the way that the hexagons looked with the snowflakes, and so I just added a little bit more color to that to disperse the color and add some texture to the whole thing. So we're going to call this layout done, I think. Oh no, I just decided to do a little bit of stapling, and after I add a few more dots, I think it looks pretty good. I've got my title in that banner, and I don't think it needs anything else, so we're going to call this done. Couple of close-ups. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're inspired to grab some of your black and white papers and add some color to them. Thanks for joining us.